This is BMW's worst modern engine and it blows up a lot. If you have one of these in your car, it's a genuine ticking time bomb. And today we're going to strip one apart to see exactly what goes wrong. This is BMW's N47, a four-cylinder turbo diesel engine that's in pretty much any model of BMW from 2007 to 2014, which is a shame because they're going pop a lot. We are at Quarry Motors, a BMW breakers near Sheffield, and they get tons of these engines in every week, selling around 4 rebuilt engines on crates per week and fitting fresh rebuilt ones in their workshop too. You may assume it's only older BMWs that would be the unreliable ones, but the N47 went all the way to 2014, and then its successor, the B47, came along and has been in BMW's lineup ever since, and that thing is just as bad. We'll get to that engine in a bit. Actually, is this the worst BMW engine ever?
I'd definitely say it's up there in top 2, 100%.
What's also up there?
The follow-on from this one, B48, they're just as bad.
Is there a certain mileage that they go? Because me being a K-series man, there's like a certain mileage that was like, yep, your head gasket's gonna go. Is there like a number?
Round town driving's your worst killer for him, so I wouldn't say it's mileage, it's the style of driving that kills him.
But being a BMW breaker, is this actually ideal? You love the fact that BMW clearly messed up with this engine because you can hoover up behind and make some dosh.
It is gold dust for us, it's brilliant to sell on, but so everybody else knows that, so you're constantly in competition to buy these in to supply the demand of failures. The good thing is when we resell them on, we'll go over the engine, top off, bottom off, make sure everything's sweet. Yeah. Last thing we want is an angry customer ringing us back saying that he's had one engine fail and the second engine's failed.
We have an ideal specimen. This is an N47 engine that has failed, and we're going to be stripping it apart to see what's happened in there. Before we see the failure in the flesh though, what should we expect to find? What goes wrong with these engines? Well, like many modern engines, it's down to the timing gear. The N47 has a timing chain that's notorious for stretching. Now, a timing chain is seen as a better solution than a timing belt. Timing belts are generally used on much cheaper engines because they're simply cheaper to produce. But they can break down being rubber and in some cases snap if you don't replace them. A timing chain is seen as a much more robust solution, but somehow BMW has found a way to make them unreliable. So why does a timing chain stretch? Well, it's mostly down to a lack of lubrication. If this chain is not getting enough oil, the friction between it and the sprocket that it's interacting with will increase. That can then put pressure on the chain links, allow the chain to stretch like an elastic band. If it just stretches a little bit, it might hop a couple of teeth on that sprocket and your engine will just run really rough. You'll probably get an engine warning light. If it jumps quite a bit, it can leave a valve open, the piston comes up to meet it, bing bang boom, your engine's done. Something else to add into the mix is plastic componentry in the timing gear. The N47 has these. These are chain guides and they're made of plastic and they are known to snap like this. If a chain guide snaps, your chain will most likely completely lose its tension. That means it will slap around and either stretch or have enough friction to just clean break. Engine done. As well as clean snaps like this, you also get little splinters that just build up over time. Now, if a bunch of these end up down in your sump, they can then start to clog up your oil pickup. As some of you out there may know, if your oil pickup gets clogged up, your engine can lack oil pressure. And seeing as an engine is literally reciprocating at thousands of times per minute, 2 seconds of no oil pressure, considering a crank is spinning at that speed, can lead to big engine failures. It's not good. So, kaboom, kaboom, not good enough, BMW. Quarry Motors here is an awesome family business that has absolutely nailed the BMW breaker side of the industry. What I would give to have a place like this that was full of the cars that I'm into. Maybe I should start up my own British rust bucket business, and the sponsor of today's video, Odoo, would come in very nicely. Odoo is an all-in-one management software that provides entrepreneurs with a range of applications to simplify the day-to-day management of their business. It'll tackle project management, inventory, invoicing, accounting, website creation, and much more. The signature application is super handy. It makes e-signing documents very easy. You can add fields like names, dates, emails, and even signatures, and drag them wherever you want on the page. You can even choose which ones are mandatory and optional. Plus, you can set a signing order to send automatic reminders to recipients to avoid any delays. I used it recently to sign my multi-million-pound DRIVETRIBE contract extension. You can create your own signature to sign documents quickly, and people can access and view documents on any device and electronically sign them with just a few clicks, so you'll know exactly who signed what and when. The best part, the Sign app complies with electronic signature standards in over 100 countries. You can do all of this completely for free, as your first application is free for life with unlimited hosting and support. You'll also have access to other apps at a very affordable price. So thank you to Odoo for making my day-to-day business happenings very easy and for sponsoring today's video. Let's get to the action. Let's strip this down and see what the damage is.
I think we're lucky on this one. So you get a telltale sign. The chain normally comes through on this bit of plastic if it's come off. So
there'd be a hole there.
Yeah, you normally see an hole there, but the fact that we haven't seen it, it could be still sign position. So you can see there that there should be a chain that goes around there.
Where's the timing chain?
It's not there. So if you have a look down there, you'll see the chain stacked in the corner.
He's just disappeared. So that hasn't snapped, it's just fallen off.
No, that'll have snapped.
That will have fully snapped?
I think that'll have coiled up.
Wow.
I think that'll be wrapped around the high pressure fuel pump sprocket.
So the next thing is the cam carrier, and you were telling me earlier that if these are really bad, they're literally like cracked. Like you can literally see massive cracks in them. So considering there wasn't that hole in the plastic cover, and we can't see any major cracks already, this one might not be that bad.
Yeah, so it might have survived, but we've just got to have a look for if one of the pistons has rised up and hit a valve. All it's going to do is send one of these lobes up in the air, which then cracks the cage, which you'll be able to tell that by spinning them as soon as it's off.
Okay, let's get off then. Despite its failures, is it an okay engine to work on? Like when you're rebuilding them and stuff, are they actually okay?
Compared to a lot of the older BMW engines, you tend to find that there were a lot of oil on outside the engine as much as the inside.
Yes, my 330D had that.
Yeah. So the other thing I would say with this one is you can start seeing signs that this person missed the service schedule quite often. So you'll notice that it's gone to black, which will lead us on to another thing later on. But
yes, you're quite excited about showing me that.
I can't believe I've never seen one, to be fair.
I honestly love this stuff. If you need an apprentice engine stripper and builder, give me a shout.
We lift it. You can normally turn the cams, and if they stick, it tends to be cracked. That one feels fine, to be fair. So we might have got away with not cracking it, which 9 times out of 10 they do.
I feel like we should be celebrating, but I'm disappointed at the same time.
But when that chain drops off, everything stays dead here, but everything else below carries on moving. Hits a valve, hits a follower straight into the cams, snaps the cage. But yeah, lucky one, that one.
Okay, cool. What next?
So next, we're going to look at taking the sump off. Sump off, we can check inside.
But you can see a chain.
So this one doesn't normally fail. So what you end up having is one chain here, then another chain up to your high pressure fuel pump, and then you chain from your high pressure fuel pump up to your sprocket. It's normally the top chain that always stretches, and you'll see when they're removed, the thickness of the top chain is a lot thinner than this one. So now we've got the sump off, as next goal is to take all these out, and then we can get the back timing cover off, and that's where I'm expecting to see the chain wrapped around everything and potentially some broken guides. So.
As much catastrophe as possible would be great.
Let's have a look, see whether his chain snapped.
Is that, there you go.
Yeah.
There he is there.
It's not just down to general wear and tear. You also have the new added extra stop-start. So the stop-start, you imagine you start them constantly pulling on the chains. So that's one of the factors. So anybody who's got one of these, I'd always suggest turning it off.
My assumption with these engines, some being worse than others, I thought it would have just fallen off, but to see that just completely sheared.
Yeah.
Also the amount of plastic and crap that's all in here as well.
So you've also got this second chain, which is this. This isn't always common to see a second chain snap, but as you can see, because these chains are a lot fatter than that one. Okay. This one's decided to let go good and proper.
So what's catching my eye here? So obviously we've got that shear there, but also I'm looking at this.
Yeah, so you'd have 2 guides running up to, from your crank to your high pressure fuel pump sprocket, and then another 2 guides taking that chain then up to the top sprockets for the cam. With this one, everything happens in one hit.
Okay, so you want it to just not even have like a heart attack. You want its heart to just explode and then it's done.
Yeah.
Here, they're just sitting, having sheared. The ultimate driving machine. Before we moved on to the next troublesome engine, it was clear that Ashley's serious knowledge about these engine failures has been a big factor in the success of his business. But looking up on your shelving here, I can see an S65. I know you're a big S85 man.
Yeah.
People might assume that an M car is where the money can be made with breaking a BMW, but really it's plug and play with these where it really kicks in.
This is what BMW earn the money with. They sell thousands of these. So if there's thousands of them on the road and they're everyday cars getting used by everyday people, they're going to fail a lot faster than any M car.
Is this going to be one of these things that comes up in a court case in 10 years' time where, you know, it says, if you own a BMW from this year with this engine, you're due compensation? What's happening? Like, these engines are failing. Are BMW being held account for it?
Previously on Watchdog, when these come out in 2007,
right,
they were in Watchdog, I think, it's got to be 2009, 2010.
So quite early on.
Yeah. So they were failing just out of warranty. So as they were failing just out of warranty and people were raising complaints, they realised that it was an issue, which I think BMW as goodwill gesture sorted them out if they failed outside of warranty at a certain point. But you had to meet every service schedule, you couldn't have gone late on anything.
With the amount of these you're getting in, how quick can you get a broken car in, engine out, sort it out, back in, on the road?
They could probably do it in a day, but we like to keep them a day or two.
A day?
Yeah. Pull them out, get them done. Some people do the chains inside the car, but if you're doing it inside the car and just by removing the gearbox, you don't address any of the issues like the inlet manifold being coked up. With it being a diesel, everything gets gunked up. So our service guys, when they do the chains, out and in a day, and then they'll run it about for the second day just to make sure everything's perfectly fine. So
you just have a crate somewhere with chains and guides and all the stuff that needs to go in here.
To be fair, I probably should have looked into having a med myself. No way to do that many.
So we've been chatting most of the day about the N47, the 07 to 2014 engine. This is its successor, the B47. And I gather this has an issue of its own.
So it doesn't quite manage the miles.
Okay, let's have a look.
Which you'll find out in a minute.
So you keep mentioning this thing called the Black Death.
Oh yeah, when you get Black Death, it's gone.
Oh my God. Look at that.
So this is a result of missing your service schedule. Another factor that BMW have upped the service schedule to, I think it's 16,000.
Okay.
And then you've got to bear in mind that most of these cars end up in people's hands where they think, oh, I'll go past the service schedule by 1,000, 2,000.
I'm sorry, this isn't missing the odd service schedule. This is surely 10, 15 years of sludge.
That one will have been from 2018.
This is not okay, Ashley. This is not okay. It looks like it's from Shrek's swamp. Look at that.
You can't even really see it, but there is the oil return. So your oil return should go back down to the sun.
That's just completely blocked.
Yeah, so you imagine that, and then you imagine your oil feed to your turbo.
We have flipped the engine over to get the sump off, and this is the car equivalent of the worst curry night of your life. Yum. I can't see how bad it is yet. Holy crap.
Somewhere around here is a little hole to basically soak whatever it can, but
that's ½ an inch thick.
There's nothing getting soaked up that.
Is that one big? Oh, it is one big. This might be the biggest clump we've had yet. Look at that.
It's almost like what you get when an injector blows back and it carbonizes it.
He's... That used to be engine oil. To summarise the B47 then, a combination of BMW elongating the service intervals and then people naturally straying slightly outside that new extended limit has led to engines looking like this. This congealing then leads to a lack of lubrication that can cause failures in the bottom end, the top end, timing chains and turbos. It's a complete lottery really. As an MG Rover guy, I've always got pelters over the years for engine unreliability, head gaskets, overheating, blah blah blah. BMW is supposed to be this peak of automotive engineering, and they get a complete hall pass for engine failures that are way more catastrophic. We're talking rod bearings, we're talking timing chains, we're talking turbos. We're talking rod bearings, things that completely write off cars that fill up breakers yards like this. The N47 is a proper ticking time bomb then, but you can do your own preventative maintenance to help stop failures like this occurring. You can do regular oil changes and aim not to drive your Beamer around town where there's going to be lots of on-off throttle driving that puts the chains under more stress. Also, probably switch your start-stop off because that again causes unnecessary stress, especially with some cars lacking oil pressure for that split second of every startup. This has been BMW's worst modern engine. Which crappy engine should we cover next? Tell me in the comments below.